Good night, everyone. Tonight, God is good and God is good all the time. Excuse me for a minute. I need my glasses. Sorry, I had to get my other glasses. Could see nothing on here. I'm sorry about that. Now, I have a word for you tonight. My name is Irma J. of Spirit Divine. We're gonna talk about Gideon. He defeated the Midianites. So in other words, God was telling him he had too many. See, God was letting us know, dealing with war, your enemies, and all that, all you need is Him. And see, Gideon used to be in his own, working his own strength. Working his own strength to have so many men, he automatically, win. But God said, you still gonna win. You just got too many right now. You can have less men and God and you still win. It's gonna come from Judges chapter 7 verse 1 to 25. Now Gideon have to get ready for the battle. He gonna have to get ready for the battle. Now the Lord said, Gideon, you have too many men. You know, he had 32,000. I cannot deliver. I can't deliver them into your hands. Israel will burst against me. With my own strength has saved many. Now, see what he's saying. He normally work in his own strength, but see, God telling him to lean on His strength. I save and I win on my own strength. Sometimes we think we can do things, on our own strength. I used to be like that, and I couldn't. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do it on your own understanding, on your own strength. We can't, because you've been doing it for a long time. Now God want him to depend on His strength. So now I announce to the army, anyone who have trembled with fear and turn back and leave my gallon, So he have 22,000 men left. So some of the men, he had 32. Now some of the men had fear, so God said if they got fear, they have to turn around. Because see, when you go into war, you can't have fear. You can't have fear and trembling and everything. You have to know that you're going in and you're gonna win. So after some of the men left, it left him with 20,000. Remember he had 32. He got 22,000 men left. You know, and so and now he have 10,000 remain. And now God had reduced the numbers of his army, and God had wanted him to do not, have doubt. Do not have doubt. Reduce down because the Galilean have large men with his own strength to win. Having all the men, and that's how he went. But this time God do not want him to take credit. Cause see, he took credit all them time. He go to war. He have all them men, and he gone in his own strength. He went. So God don't want him to take credit for what he about to do. So God will get the victory. But the Lord said to Gideon, there are too many. He got 10,000 men left. God said that's still too many. That's too many. Let's take them down to the water. Take them down to the water, and I will thin them out. Thin them out for you. There. Now, if you say this one should go with you, he should go. But if I say this one should go with you, and he should go. So one should not go, and one should go. So God doesn't need Israel soldier to overcome an enemy, and he is about to prove it. So the Lord had tell Gideon to take his remaining fighters, down to the nearby water. See, he got 10 men left. God said that's still too many. He would test the men there and tell Gideon which to keep and which to go. So Gideon had took 10,000 men left. 10,000 men left. Took him down to the water, and there was the Lord told him. Now God told him separate those who lap, you know, like the water, with their tongue as a dog. Now He want them to lick like a dog with the water. You know how the dog lick the water. From those who kneel down to drink it, they have to go home because they're not doing the proper way. Now God said, "Look like a dog," and some of them gonna kneel down on their knees and drink the water. That's not how God told them to do. So the one that kneel down, they're gonna have to go. So God is committed, to reducing Galilean forces despite being desperate outnumbered. Now God wants to make clear that any victory was only provide the work of the Lord. And that's what Galilean got to get. He got to get the lean on God. Victory belongs to God. See, he always get credit because he always was leaning on his own strength. So victory was only provided by work of the Lord, not by men themselves. And see, that's what he's trying to explain to Galen. It was never supposed to be yourself. No, so 300 of them drank the water, out the cup of his hand, lapping like a dog. That's the proper way that God told him. Now, all the rest had got down on their knees and drank water, so they got to go. So there was two groups. The ones who lapped the water out of their hand and were put in a group. The ones who kneeled down to drink the water, they went in another group, but they had to go home. There were only 300 men was left that lapped like a dog. So the Lord said, Gideon, with the 300 men, that's lap, that will save you and give the Midianites, into your hands. So let all others go home. All the rest of them want to kneel down on their knees and drink the water. They had to go. Now God confirmed that he only used 300 men and sent several thousand home. Remember, it was 10,000. So he used 300 men out of 10,000. So during that night, the Lord said, Galilean, get up. You need to get up. Go down against the camp, because I'm going to give you into your hand. I'm going to give them into your hands. Now, Galilean obeyed God, and he got up and he went. Now, if you are afraid, because since that he was a lieutenant there, if you're afraid to attack, go down to the camp with your servant put. Now, Galilean was afraid. He was afraid because he used to work in his own strength. Now, he had 32,000, men, but God broke it down to 300 men. Now, he's scared. He a little afraid. Now, God telling me to go out there and with 300 men, and that's thousands of men out there. But God is all you need. God is mighty in war. And God really need the 300. But God, he's scared because he got 300 men. He got to go against men that have thousands of men. But if God said you're going to get victory with these 300 men, you're going to get it. So if you are afraid to attack, he telling them go head down to the camp and you can go head on. Now, Galilean was afraid because he used to work with his own strength. Now, he used to have 32,000, but God broke that down to 300. He's scared. Now his friends respond, this can be nothing other than the sword of the Galilean. Now the son of John, the Israelite. Now God had given the Midianites to the whole camp and to the hand. Now He giving them into his lap, into his hands. Now God delivered the Midianites just like he said he would. Oh, Gideon arrived just as the man was telling a friend a dream. Now, I had a dream. Now, he was saying, a round loaf of bread, came trembling into the Midianites' camp. Now, it struck the tent with such a force that the tent overturned and collapsed. Now, there was a dream. Now, he arrived to the place that he's supposed to be going at. But to somebody tell somebody a dream, and so both dreams interpreted was inspired by God, for a purpose of increasing the confidence of Gideon in his army. See, Gideon was a little frightened. He was afraid. So God put this dream to give him some confidence, boost his confidence up. So when Gideon heard the dream, in his interpretation, he bowed down, worship, and he returned to their camp in Israel and called out, "Get up, the Lord had given the Midianites camp into your hands." So see the dream worked. Give him a little boost. I told you God is good and encourage people. That's when he called his man. Come on, let's go. So out of this dream, his chosen deliver faith and confidence. That's all God was doing. Trying to build his confidence and faith up because he was a little afraid. He was afraid of having 300 men, and he had to fight against thousands of men. Well, he used to have thousands of men himself, so dividing the 300 men into three companies. Now he placed the trumpet and the empty jars in the hand of them with torches inside. Now he supposed to you have three companies. One gonna be on the right wind side, one on the left wind side, and one in the body of the army. So the three company blew the trumpet, smashed the jar, grasping the torch in their left hand and holding in their right hand. Now the trumpet there was to blow. They shouted and swore for the Lord and for Galilee. Now they also captured, 200. Captured 200 men. And Midianites leaders, Midianite leaders, and they killed, at the rock of the and refused the Midianites to brought the head of the Galileans who was by the Jordan River. Now, God, they got glory. God got glory. Now he thought he wasn't gonna be able to beat these men. He thought he wasn't gonna be able to beat the 300 men. He thought he wasn't gonna beat the 300 men. He was worrying for nothing. A lot of time, God is mighty in war. If he tell you all you need is 300 men, that's all you need. Because God is mighty in war. And a lot of time, all we need is God. And so the Lord victory over the Midianites, through Gideon and his 300 men, the Israelites take position around the Midianites' camp while after dark. Now they chose to strategy moment to attack. The best way to attack was at night. So that we see that no matter how your army may come against you, all you need is you and God. You may have a whole army against you, whole army against you, and all you have is yourself and God, and you beating the whole army. Find all kind of stuff to come against you with, and so Galilee used to having 32,000 men he was in a safe zone, and his own strength to win. That's how he was winning. He was winning in his own strength. He was winning with 1,000 of men. Until God came along. Now God said, break this down. He did for, because he said that was too many. You talking about going win a war. You don't need all that many. Break it down. So he broke it down to 10,000. God said that's still too many. Still too many. So he left with 300 men. And he was so sad. He was so sad. He didn't know he was getting beat the Midianites with 300 men. But God. And so also now, he's safe, with you and bring the return of the hand. Now God said I was gonna bring the men into your hands. So God didn't want Galilee to take credit. So that's why he ain't let them have all the men. Because, see, he used to having a whole lot of men, and he get credit. Just like he said, he do all this here in my own strength. And he said he always win. So God said, since you always win with all them, it's too many. We're going to break it down. So God had him to break it down for 300 men. So he won't get credit. So God can get all the glory and know that God, you beat these people here with 300 men. But faith in God, our strength is in him. God got the victory with only 300 men. You could be against, a whole army can be against you. Keep on finding ways to get at you. And they still be losing with no one but God. That's all you need, with you and God. And see, he was so used to doing everything in his own strength. But God said, no, we're going to do this way. He broke it down. You had 10,000 remain. That's still too many. Let's break this down again. Let's bring it to the water. And so they broke that down to 300. And God said, okay, now we ready. You ready to go to battle. And we have to realize that when we have so many coming against us, all you need is confidence in God. That, excuse me, that's what David did. David was a little teenager. He had faith to go out there and stand up against that giant, but he had confidence in God, knowing that he can knock that giant down. And see, that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to stand up to our giant. Not trying to find a gang of people to come with you to have deal with the situation. All you do is take it with God in prayer, and it's just you and God, and you'll see how much you'll win. See how much the table will turn. And so God had to tell him. God had to use him and let him know. Okay, we're going to do this with 300 men. Not with 10,000, not with 20,000, but 300 men. And watch how you will win. And so now he know. He know when God said, that's too many men. And he break it down. He won with 300 men. Because but God, you can do it. You cannot do it, in your own strength. You could not win, a 300 men against all those men without God. So that's all I have for you today. Y'all have a blessed and safe day, and I see y'all in the next video.